Hello everybody, my name is Hastur, and in this video we will be watching and me giving my genuine thoughts on the right-wing VTuber grifter situation is insane by Jaxxom. Now, if you decide to, you can find his video. It's fairly easy to find. Don't send hate. Don't be shitty in the comments. Just, if you want to watch the video for yourself, watch the video for yourself. But I'm not sending you there, so don't be a shyst.
Drama slop alert. Drama slop alert.
This video is drama slop and politics slop. I am warning you now. If you don't want to see drama slop and politics slop about the VTuber community, then I suggest you do not watch this video.
If you do not want to see drama slop and politics slop involving the VTuber community, do not watch this video either.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I've been
You're welcome.
aware of the phenomenon of like right-wing VTuber grifters for a while now. I mean, I guess it makes sense that like they exist because lots of VTuber culture tends to kind of skew a little bit left-wing. And when it comes to people who like VTubers, there are a lot of loser virgin chuds looking for a home, you know, who feel like they can't find a VTuber who represents their politics, their shitty, toxic, awful politics. So, you know.
What's shitty, awful, and toxic about their politics? Just gonna throw that out there and not really back it up? Where's your facts and logic? But in all seriousness, I don't want to say it's non sequitur. I get what he's trying to connect it to, but it's more just, you're not really making a criticism of like any valid point. You're just attacking their political beliefs, and you're not really giving any substance as to why they are toxic or bad. It's kind of ad hominem in a way.
Now, obviously, there's a market, which leads to the rise of the right-wing grifter VTuber. You know, a lot of them.
And I don't know if I mentioned it. I have watched this, as you can tell by the cacophony of tabs up here. This is still my honest opinion on this. I'm not trying to bullshit you that like this is my live reaction. I've never seen this before.
Are basically just kind of copying Asmongold's YouTube channel. It's a lot of just like Gamergate reaction content and just general politics reactions and awful, shitty opinions about current events. Yeah, no, it's...
What makes the opinions shitty? Are you gonna explain that?
It's a awful cesspool of bootlicking and bullshit, but you know, it pays the bills, I guess. So literally just today, I made the mistake of thinking to myself, what's going on in the right-wing VTuber grifter sphere? And I went ahead and looked and was immediately made angry by how stupid this current drama is. I'm not gonna sit here and cover like this entire like play-by-play. A lot of it's very stupid, but just as a quick overview, Miss Lala is a VTuber, has kind of like a 1950s kind of diner aesthetic to her model and her stream, and she tweets out "fuck ICE," which of course, based, good opinion. Everybody agrees with this, based opinion.
No, not everyone does agree with this. For instance, right here, I'm gonna shift this over to make this a little bit bigger. But fun fact, as per what? Why aren't you letting me do the thing? There we go. Yeah, as per CNN's, and yes, this is a little old, but as per CNN's own polling. Oh, actually, this is Reuters Ipsos that they're showing right here. But yeah, it's not the majority opinion. Along with that, just saying, you know, well, as he put it,
How stupid this current drama is. I'm not gonna sit here and cover like this entire like play-by-play. A lot of it's very stupid, but just as a quick overview.
it is kind of stupid at times.
Review, Miss Lala as a VTuber has kind of like a 1950s kind of diner aesthetic to her model and her stream, and she tweets out "fuck ICE," which of course, based, good opinion. Everybody agrees with this. Based opinion. If you
No, not everyone agrees with this. In fact, it's fairly easy to say, you know, most people actually kind of like what ICE is doing. So saying "fuck ICE," kind of going against what a lot of people are saying. For instance, well, here. What the hell?
A little bit more into the specifics, right? So this is a great question. Deport all undocumented immigrants. That is voters favoring a government effort to deport all 11 million. Look at where we are now in 2025. 56%, the majority of voters agree with this policy, support it, just 43% oppose. That is a massive.
So the majority of people, and this, once again, this is old. This is 2025, I think in April. I don't remember the exact date, but oh, here, April 18th. So relatively recent. Along with that, being nitpicky, it's an opinion. Opinions aren't inherently necessarily good or bad. Like, they can be reasonable or they can be unreasonable. Kind of like, you know, just saying based because you support it. But I'm getting off topic and rambling.
you don't agree with this, fuck you. That gets quote retweeted by
Oh, inconceivability. I can't understand why you would disagree with me, so I'm just not going to listen. It's some real personal incredulity there.
Rev, who is one of these just like Gamergate right-wing grifter VTubers, generally just like kind of a like hateable human being from everything I've ever seen of him. And he accuses
Anecdotal, okay.
her of being a hypocrite because she's a 1950s aesthetic VTuber and she hates the current federal agency that's more tame than any law enforcement agency of the time period included in her LARP, and then criticizes her for locking replies. So like, first off,
Well, here, hold on.
this is not hypocrisy. It's an incredibly stupid point that makes zero sense. Somebody
It is incredibly stupid, but the hypocrisy comes from something else. So, in fact, let me... Yeah. It comes from, what I understand, this right. Oh, god damn it, I forgot. Yeah, here, let me. Yeah, the hypocrisy part comes from this, where if you want to have a conversation about my actions, then come to me and let's have a conversation. And then she prevents any sort of further communication by locking the replies. Now, I believe since then she has unlocked the replies because I could reply if I wanted to. But I think it's worth mentioning that, at least from my perspective, that the hypocrisy is kind of detached from that. But then again, maybe I'm just an idiot and I don't understand how Twitter's laid out. And maybe this is in fact referring to this, because I don't use Twitter. It's a cesspool. I don't like it.
Somebody deciding they want to use a 1950s aesthetic for the VTuber does not require that they agree with 1950s politics. I just don't understand where this is coming from. The whole drama kind of spirals into something stupid in the first place, but this being the starting point is so incredibly dumb. His criticism is so incredibly stupid. It makes no sense. Like, oh man, you're a dog VTuber? Oh, but you don't just bark your entire stream and you speak in English? Wow, what a hypocrite. Oh, you're a vampire VTuber and you go out during the day? Oh, hypocrite. It's just
Fair criticism.
just dumb. Like, I don't understand where this even came from. I don't know. Rev seems like kind of a moron, honestly. Like, I've
Just because you can't understand where it comes from doesn't necessarily make him a moron.
never thought he was like a very good person, but he also just seems kind of stupid. There's a lot of mention thrown back and forth in this exchange of like harassment. None of this is harassment. Rev is correct. Like,
So I don't want to cut him off here, but when it comes to it being harassment, basically Rev was brigaded, and because it wouldn't, anything that you throw at Rev basically completely misses because he's a short little lolly man. They decided to go after instead advanced GG. Along with that, which you can actually see. Oh shoot, I overdid it.
of like harassment.
Right here. It's fair to criticize this. Why is one of the current faces of your company, Vex Milk, currently scrubbing her account of tweets harassing me and my wife? This effectively, when Rev says harassment, he is actually right. As per, and I'm using this just because it puts it right here. Otherwise, I have to search through a little bit. But from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission themselves, yeah. So actually, it's kind of all of this. But harassment becomes unlawful where, one, enduring the offensive conduct becomes a condition of continued employment, or two, the conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Now, when you have a bunch of people brigading and then you have someone else coming in who is, as Rev says himself, one of the company faces, that does kind of become harassment. And by the very oogity boogity AI'd description of harassment, harassment is unwelcome conduct that is based on a protected characteristics such as race, color, religion, sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, or pregnancy, national origin, age, 40 or older, disability, or genetic information, and that creates a hostile, intimidating, or offensive environment. It becomes unlawful when it is severe or pervasive enough to affect working conditions, or when enduring the conduct becomes a condition of continued employment. So it is fair to say that it is harassment.
None of this is harassment. Rev is correct.
It is.
Like, quoting a tweet is not harassment, even if you're mean, even if what you're saying is really stupid. Nobody harassed anybody here. It feels like a lot of people are just...
No, it's harassment. It becomes unlawful when it is severe or pervasive enough to affect working conditions. It is harassment.
Just like weaponizing that word to make it seem like the person on the other side of the conflict did something like morally indefensible so that they can kind of gain the high ground, and all that's kind of dumb. However,
just because you can't fully comprehend it doesn't make it dumb.
blocking your replies when you're getting a lot of hate, like, that's valid. This idea that you're like not allowed to lock your replies, or that you're like obligated somehow to allow people to comment under your post and like be toxic towards you, like, that's it's so stupid. I don't understand like where people got this idea that you're required to sit there and read all of like the criticism about you and like allow it to be aired out. You're allowed to
You're allowed to. You don't have to sit there and take it, no. But when you make a statement such as, that's not what I want. There we go. When you make a fuck ice statement, and then, people go after you because you're not normally a political VTuber, because she's not. When you make a political take, people get really agitated because it's politics. When you then lock replies, because you can't handle the fact that people are wild about politics, that's kind of where this all kicked up. It's, you said something, people turned up the temperature because you said something that would turn up temperatures. And then you immediately try to put everything on ice and it just explodes in front of you. Because that's kind of what happens. It's not that you have to leave it unlocked, but when you make a statement like this, and then you immediately just, nope, I'm not listening, la 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 la, locks everything. People are gonna be really extra agitated because if you're gonna say something, be sure to be able to take it. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I forgot that she was I forgot she was like a waitress, not cafe, diner VTuber. So that's kind of funny, I guess.
Curate your social media space. Like, if you don't want to see criticism of yourself, like, that's fine. Lock your comments. Who cares?
If you don't want to see criticism of yourself, don't make a political take.
And anybody who criticizes you and implies that you are like required to allow public dogpiling of yourself, just don't listen to them. That's a stupid opinion.
That is fair. You don't necessarily have to like take dogpiling, but if you prevent yourself from being dogpiled, people are going to like heavily criticize you for it. It is better to take the dogpiling than to just say la 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 la, blocked.
I don't know. Again, it's just people finding things to try and criticize about the other side to sort of gain some sort of like moral high ground. I would say the only like truth of this situation is that Rev's attack was just stupid in the first place and made no sense. It's not that
That is true. Like, if anything, a better like critique, not necessarily the fact that her thing is supposed to be from the 50s, which the 50s did not like basically anyone. But you can better point out like, hey, you're making a political take, but you're not a political VTuber. I really wouldn't do that. Or, you know, if you're going to make a political take, at least back it up. But this, like, the 50s VTuber aesthetic, yeah, you don't have to agree with everything from the 50s. I mean, by that standard, any African American watching would only be 3/5 of a, well, no, they had full voting rights back then. So they would only be allowed to watch from the black box TVs instead of from their smartphones.
that he did something like wrong or morally incorrect. It's that he's just a fucking moron. Also, Rev likes to use the term Twitter freaks.
Ad hominem for the he's just a moron. You're not really attacking what he's saying at that point. You're just saying, oh, he's stupid, which then that actually borderlines on fallacy. Like, oh, he's just making a very poor argument, so I'm not going to listen. It's for shame. I don't blame you, but for shame.
A lot when criticizing people or like groups of people who are either criticizing him or criticizing his opinions or things that he feels defensive about. I think that's pretty interesting considering some of the responses that seem to agree with his take. I definitely agree. There are some Twitter freaks out there. Like, the main takeaway for me.
Yeah. When you have people who act wacky on Twitter, those are Twitter freaks. I don't understand why, for instance,
considering some of the things that he feels defensive about. I think that's pretty interesting considering some of the responses that seem to agree with his take. I definitely agree. There are some Twitter freaks out there. Like, the main
yeah, he didn't say that Twitter freaks were anyone he was like against or anyone who was against him. He's just using Twitter freaks as, you know, a catch-all term for someone who is freaky on Twitter. Whether that be for, well, actually, there's some definitely freaky replies from him, which thus makes him a Twitter freak. I would show it, but I don't know if I'm able to on YouTube, and I'm not going to play that game. But, like, I don't think this is a very good criticism. Like, saying, oh, he uses the term Twitter freak, and it's kind of funny that he uses it because it seems like there are some people who definitely are pretty freaky on his side. That there can be freaks on both sides. So it's not like a black and white issue.
Takeaway for me from just like the starting point of this entire series of events is that Rev is not like a very serious person. On the one hand, he says that like criticizing people isn't harassing anybody, and then he turns around right away and accuses other.
Once again, when you have someone who is a large face on the company, yeah, why is one of the current faces of your company, Vex Milk, currently scrubbing her account of tweets harassing me and my wife? When it says, I will block you if you defend Rev or Straub, which, if they're a face of a company that is affiliated with Advanced, and Advanced is affiliated with Rev and Straub, that creates the hostile work environment that, by not only this, words are hard. Sometimes they don't come out. But this definition, and equally the definition within the actual like Equal Opportunity Commission, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the actual government website, like it's literally that. It is like pound for pound, penny for penny. Conduct severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. It is hostile. You have a company face basically saying, fuck this guy. And how would that not be, by that definition, harassment?
Other people of harassing him for basically just publicly criticizing him. I guess if you publicly criticize somebody like more than once, does that then become harassment based on his standards?
Straw man. That's not what he's saying. And if you as in Jaxxom, if you looked it up, by the very definition on the government website, once again, it would count as harassment.
I don't really understand. He's a grifter. He's a drama profiteer who plays dumb and
I don't really understand, and then you go into an ad hominem. Listen, just because you don't understand doesn't mean that he is wrong. Just because you can't wrap your head around it.
Innocent in the face of any criticism for his awful opinions and his awful behavior. And he shouts woke and Twitter freak when he criticizes things that he doesn't like. That's about it. For the record, there are a lot of people on Twitter who have some really stupid opinions, but he doesn't hate those people. He loves those people. They're his content. They're also his audience. He's a valueless husk.
Two things can be true at once. You can hate someone, but you can still like to keep them around.
Who still posts Gamergate content in 2026. Honestly, he should be shamed and bullied off of every platform.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to invoke the ancient right of Gamergate. That's been dead since 2014.
And he should lose all business deals that he manages to get his hands on. He's a piece of shit. Fuck him. Now, of course, part of the right-wing grifter model of content is to react to these sort of things. So this instance immediately starts drawing in the...
I didn't notice it. I think that's supposed to be Newsom.
The other right-wing grifters in the space.
Apparently, it's breaking news that apparently they were dropped from Advanced GG over the cancellation campaign. And let me explain to you why this is stupid.
Leaflet is one such VTuber who I've seen their name thrown around a lot. The interesting thing is I actually used to watch Leaflet's content back when she just was like a regular streamer who posted video game content, but apparently she realized that copying Asmongold was like super profitable. So like it's honestly insane to look at her.
Leaflet has actually explained kind of the shift in her content. She has said it herself. She used to talk about politics on like Saturday streams. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can find, she actually did a react video of this, and she says it herself. So, not just me saying that.
Her current YouTube videos in contrast with her old YouTube videos. I mean, it makes sense. Like, she's obviously doing much better with this content model. But like, literally watching a Benny Johnson video, like Benny Johnson, the world's most smug, sentient piece of human shit. I just...
Nice argument. When you gonna stop using ad hominem? Like, don't get me wrong. Benny Johnson, that smirk, there's just something primal in me that becomes very, very violent. I agree with a lot of the stuff he says, not necessarily everything, but like there's just something. I don't know. It's like I want to throw a brick at a window. Like I just want to hear a very loud noise.
Just can't imagine like falling that low just for content.
Because this isn't an assault on a specific person. This is an assault on like anyone that thinks ICE is okay. Anyone that voted for ICE, anyone that agrees with ICE. This is them telling their creators, you don't mean shit to us. Because the instant that it becomes inconvenient for us, we're kicking you out. No matter how loyal you were to us, no matter how much money you made us, none of that fucking matters. We never have your back. And that's literally what this says. This is so freaking ridiculous, man.
Now, like, notice.
So, first off, context. Because if it's something in relation to, like, Rev being dropped, it is worth noting that, well, here.
How, like, dramatic and emotional she's being about this.
Hold on. Let me just, the right-wing VTuber grifter situation is insane. Just figured I'd throw that in there because, you know, he's saying, oh, it's emotional terms.
It's like, this is like the facts don't care about your feelings crowd over here. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. If you're a reasonable person, you'll get thrown to the side and thrown to the wolves. Like, Jesus Christ, give me a break. Like, you're just crying like a baby.
And I think it's worth noting right here. So, Advanced own website. Benevolent. Advanced's own website. There we go. Words are hard. But Advanced's own website actually says right here. Actually, let me. There. Now that I'm out of the way, sort of. Loud, fearless, and unapologetically real, Rev Says Desu embodies everything the Senpai line stands for. Shaker 003 captures his raw energy and unfiltered personality, blending the anime-inspired chaos with sleek design. It's more than a shaker, it's a statement piece for those who never hold back. So, just to lead... like that some. So, just to lead, Advanced knew what kind of VTuber Rev was.
Maybe because people don't like your shitty politics. Advanced GG can do whatever it wants. They can make decisions about who they partner with based on anything. It's a private company. The CEO is allowed to not like the vibes of the partners for any reason. You are literally encouraging people to boycott them in response. You are reacting to their behavior.
Where did she say don't buy from Advanced? Where'd she say it? This is a straw man if you haven't caught on yet. Along with that, here, let me just...
Advanced GG can do whatever it wants. They can make...
Yes, they are a private company. That being said, this isn't necessarily about, oh, they just don't like the guy, so they're not going to work with him. This is because he was brigaded from Twitter. Twitter basically went out of their way and harassed Advanced GG. A bunch of the other large people who were affiliated with Advanced.gg said, fuck these guys. I can't believe these guys. Oh my God. And Advanced decided to completely shitcan one of their most staunch like faces. Like I'm pretty sure in almost every video I've seen of Rev, a little bit of anecdotal evidence from me, yes, but like in every video I see of Rev, he at least mentions advanced once and just completely like shills out the ass. So like when Leaflet said loyalty, that's what she's referring to. Because Rev would like gobble advanced cock and just like completely sloppy toppy them. And they basically just said, you know what? These Twitter freaks, yes, Twitter freaks, they're screaming a bit too loud. We're just going to drop you. And that is what Leaflet was talking about when she said this.
For Ice, anyone that agrees with Ice, this is them telling their creators, you don't mean shit to us. Because the instant that it becomes inconvenient for us, we're kicking you out. No matter how loyal you were to us, no matter how much money you made us, none of that fucking matters. We never have your back. And that's literally what this says. This is so freaking ridiculous, man.
No, like,
So, and I know I'm not necessarily explaining it the best, but I think it's disingenuous to describe it as this.
notice how like dramatic and emotional she's being about
Sorry,
this.
wrong part.
Because people don't like your shitty politics. Advanced GG can do whatever it wants. They can make decisions about who they partner with based on anything. It's a private company. The CEO is allowed to not like the vibes of the partners for any reason. You are literally encouraging.
Okay. And by this logic, I think someone who says this machine kills fascists, I think they should never be partnered with anyone. Because I don't like it when someone says kills anyone. Because that's, you know, kind of not good, you know? Especially when you use something as broad and undefined as fascists. So, by your definition, if a company doesn't want to work with you, can they not? Maybe they should take one of their most loyal faces and just kick them out. Because, I don't know, they don't like the vibe? Because maybe it's because they're gay. And I know this is kind of a straw man. This is definitely going way out there. But by this standard,
To not like the vibes of the partners for any reason. You are.
any reason? Okay. Would it be okay if they dropped, let's say hypothetically, because I don't know all the VTubers they're associated with. Let's say they drop a gay VTuber because they're gay. Now, I don't think they could, because I do believe that's considered a protected class. But if they did, and they were allowed to do it, would you be okay with that? Well, probably not. Is that a little bit of a straw man? A little bit. I won't deny it. But something, a sneaking little suspicion tells me that you would have an issue with it.
Are literally encouraging people to boycott them in response. You are.
Once again, from what you showed, and you have the capacity to show it, she didn't say that.
Are reacting to their behavior and choosing to not do business with them as a form of punishment for that behavior. You're allowed to do that, but so is the company. They're reacting to the behavior of one of their partners and choosing not to do business with them.
They understood the kind of behavior that the partner would do. It's not exactly a hidden secret that Rev is a little bit of a troll. Some would describe him as quite a bit of a troll. So this kind of doesn't really work because they knew what kind of person he was. Here, let me just...
They're reacting to the behavior.
There we go. We want to address some concerns that have been raised regarding a partner and recent conversations surrounding Advanced. Advanced does not support extremism or hate. We have zero tolerance for harassment, threats, doxing, or content that marginalizes any community. We are committed to inclusivity, respect, and maintaining a community where people feel safe and welcome. We are addressing recent concerns, including partnership matters, through our internal process. We will not do public callouts or trial by social media. Advance is not a political platform. Enforcement will be handled privately and consistently. And we have ended the partnership relationship issue. So none of this would have started if people didn't brigade Advanced. This was a harassment campaign that worked. As you can see right here, once again, they knew what they were getting into. So this kind of falls flat.
Behavior of one of their partners and choosing not to do business with them, acting like it's some sort of outrageous, completely unheard of thing, and they're
It's not unheard of. It is outrageous. It is a coward's way out. If you know what kind of content creator they are, you gotta stick with it. Like, you can't just pussyfoot it. You know what you're doing.
betraying people is stupid. You're just crying about it. Like, relax, grow up. Like the title.
Ooh. Appeal to ridicule. You're just crying about it. Whoa up. Motherfucker, pound sand.
Title of the video, "This is War." Like, I understand that it's clickbait. I do understand that. But it's like so dramatic. It's just, ugh.
It's one thing to be a politically neutral entity, and it's another thing to actually take enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology.
Taking enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology. They just don't like you.
So they're taking enforcement on behalf of a political ideology. If they don't like you because of your political ideology, then would they not logically be taking action? It's literally that. Like, maybe I'm not understanding properly. So hold on, let me just...
Ideology.
Taking enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology. They just don't like you.
And why don't they like him? You've been saying that it's because of his politics this entire time. So they would be taking action on behalf of a political position. It is literally that. I don't understand how he's not seeing that. There's my personal incredulity poking through. It's inconceivable how he can't understand that.
Like, I just don't understand the confusion here. Like, the bewilderment. The like, oh my God.
Let me just stop. I'm glad the mic can't pick up half of the noises I make. So let me just... Yes, and I'm tweaking out. This is a now 40, almost 40 minute video. I've been talking for 4 seconds for every 1 second moving. So let me just throw you in the corner. Yep, you get the cut corner right there. Actually, hold on. So, new image. Create. There. Now you can go into the cut corner. Right there. Yeah, you get front row seats. So, riddle me this, Buttman. Hold on. Where's the cable? God damn it. I didn't think I didn't realize I'd be doing this. Oh, I guess the notepad and Krita have become part of the game. All right. So, quick, Jaxxom, why don't they like him?
Outrageous, completely unheard of thing with the spark on anything. It's a private company. The CEO is allowed to not.
Hold on, let me find the. Here, let me pull up the transcript. Let me pull up. Where is it? Okay.
Company. They're reacting to the behavior of one of their partners and choosing not to do business with them, acting like it's some sort of outrage.
Okay, so they're refusing to do business. All right, they're refusing to do business. Quick, why aren't they doing business with them?
A break. Like, you're just crying like a baby because people don't like your shitty politics. Advanced GG can do whatever it wants. They can.
Okay, so they are refusing business because of shitty politics, right?
Understand that, but it's like so dramatic. It's just, ugh.
It's one thing to be a politically neutral entity, and it's another thing to actually take enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology.
Taking enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology. They just don't like you.
Why don't they like him? Because of the politics! Put simply.
Like, I just don't understand the confusion here. Like, the bewilderment. The like, oh my god, how could they do this? People don't like you and your shitty politics. You are...
Okay, so I guess maybe the disconnect here is he doesn't understand the connection between disliking the shitty politics and, you know, working on behalf of the political, like that political reasoning that he pointed out. Or rather, I shouldn't say he pointed out. Leaflet pointed it out, and he's just, you know, not capable of processing it.
Toxic to this country. We want you to shut the fuck up and stop voting for pedophile rapists. Like, what is confusing about that? Companies are comprised of people. Those people have opinions. Those people are allowed to act upon those opinions within their company. That's capitalism. Deal.
Okay, so if they, once again, the argument with the gay VTuber, the hypothetical one, hypothetically, if they had a gay VTuber and they dropped them because they were gay, would you be okay with that? I highly doubt it.
Deal with it. It's just so obnoxious how like pearl clutching and dramatic and like crybaby these people become when they like receive like criticism and backlash for their like awful opinions and their like awful politics. These are the...
How are they awful? Like, don't get me wrong. You can make the argument that like, okay, sure, Rev could have gotten a little bit of backlash because it was silly, stupid drama. But how is it okay that he gets, not only he, but his wife also got their contract dropped? Oh, it's not picking up. Dropped. Yeah. So this right here,
They like receive like criticism and backlash for their like awful opinions and their like awful politics. These are the consequences for your action. That's the way.
okay, so by virtue of being his wife, Straub deserves to have her thing dropped. Straub wasn't even in relation to this. This whole drama didn't even involve her. It was Rev and Lala. And whoop-de-fucking-do, the wife gets drawn in. Why? Because she's married to Rev. This argument that, oh, this is because they don't like Rev, then why'd they get rid of Straub? Just random question.
It is. Get fucked. Another video that I looked at regarding the situation was from Kirsha, which was an hour-long video. What the fuck? She kind of like hides her power level in this video, honestly. It's a pretty like level-headed, kind of reasonable take about just like how toxic Twitter is and how nobody was really harassing anybody. The one take that she gives here that I definitely wanted to criticize was when she's talking about like cancel culture and cancel culture being a bad thing, and she talks about the
It can be. Unfortunately, a lot of people misuse cancel culture, you know, like getting a guy's wife fired because she's married to him.
comparison of her behavior in the past where she was encouraging going after people who were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, like, and canceling those people and getting them to lose their jobs, comparing that to quote unquote canceling Rev and causing him and his wife to lose their advance contracts.
It's from the Charlie Kirk stuff of going after people for simply not liking him. No. I don't care if someone doesn't like Charlie Kirk. I care if they're celebrating that he died. That is fucking weird.
This is pretty funny because she acts like there's some sort of clear distinction here, which is based on kind of nothing. Celebrate.
Did someone die? If yes, celebration, for the most part, bad. If someone did not die, celebration, distasteful, but it is on a wildly different plane. Like, oh, let's say, you know, Hitler were killed. Yep, we just won World War II because the funny mustache man decided to hide in a bunker and do what he should have done a long time ago. Everyone would be happy because objectively, not subjectively, but objectively, the funny mustache man, you know, killed 6 million people just for being Jewish. Well, he also killed blacks along with them. So, over 6 million, well over. I don't remember the exact number that people have come up with, but like that, because you have concrete things as to what he did and the general morals that say, yeah, that's bad, that is able to be celebrated. But when a guy literally just sits down and says, yo, what do you think of this? And he gets shot for it, that is bad. That is very different from the mustache man. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he really can understand the difference. Maybe that's just a little bit of straw manning. Maybe it's inconceivability that I can't understand him. But who knows?
Spreading violence against somebody isn't actually illegal. In fact, here's Charlie Kirk doing that regarding Paul Pelosi getting attacked with a hammer.
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm
Just letting you read that real quick.
hero, someone should go and bail this guy out and then go ask him some questions.
So clearly there are some situations.
Oh, and you're criticizing her when it comes to, you know, having people lose their jobs when you are saying, oh no, advanced dropping him is perfectly fine. Does here, I mean, let me just
celebrating Charlie Kirk's death.
His own words.
Like, and canceling those people and getting them to lose their jobs. Comparing that to, quote unquote, canceling Rev and causing him and his wife to lose their advance contracts.
It's from the Charlie Kirk stuff of going after people for simply not liking him. No. I don't care if someone doesn't like Charlie Kirk. I care if they're celebrating that he died. That is fucking weird.
This is pretty funny because she acts like there's some sort of clear distinction here, which is based on kind of nothing. Celebrating violence against somebody isn't actually illegal. In fact, here.
Actually, if someone is celebrating violence, I think it would be reasonable, as I think it's distasteful. I don't like violence. I especially don't like it when someone dies. Unless it's, a serial killer. Then I sleep a little bit more happily at night. But, there's a clear distinction between someone celebrating someone else's death and people bitching and moaning on Twitter, getting not only this guy, Rev, but also his wife dropped by a company. It's a very different situation. And the fact that he's even equating, this words on the funny interwebs, just typed out things, to a response to someone's death, that is wildly different.
Here's Charlie Kirk doing that regarding Paul Pelosi getting attacked with a hammer.
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been
yes, I do
bailed
think this
out?
is
By the way,
distasteful.
if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out and then go ask him some questions.
So
Yeah, distasteful. But he's able to do it. And funny story, the company that he's a part of didn't drop him. Now, granted, that's also because he owns this company, so he's able to say whatever the fuck he wants in relation to that. But if someone said, "Oh, this is too far," and decided to not work with him anymore or decided to leave, that's fair. You said it yourself. Individuals are individuals. They have opinions.
clearly there are some situations in which celebrating violence against somebody is okay. Maybe if you just dislike the person.
No. I think you can make certain levels of jokes about it. There was one where it was a rapist was raped by a gay rapist. That definitely got flagged by the YouTube algorithm. I think that's funny because someone doing an illegal act had that same illegal act done onto him. I think that's funny and I think that's reasonable. In fact, actually, you know what? That's one more thing that makes me sleep more happily at night. So.
Enough. The reality is that you had a moral objection to public statements of a person, these people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and you worked to get that person punished monetarily. That's exactly what happened to Rev. People had a moral objection to their behavior and their public statements, and those people worked to get them punished monetarily. It's the same thing. Acting like there's some sort of distinction there is silly.
Who did Rev kill with his mean words? Who was celebrating the person that Rev killed with his mean words? Who was Rev celebrating the death of? Rev was saying, hey, you're saying something, and then he criticized them for not, sticking to it and deciding to pussyfoot out. And then Twitter freaks, got him and his wife fired. It is a wildly different thing when you go after someone. You can make the argument for Rev. I don't agree with the argument, but I can steel man it. I want you to explain to me how his wife being removed is okay, because it wasn't just him. And I know I'm harping on this. I'm repeating this over and over and over again. But this argument that oh, well, you're getting people fired because they celebrated the death of a man, and you got a guy who did say something and the wife who was unrelated to the situation fired. And you're equating them. You are, in fact, equating them. You are making the argument that there is no real distinct difference aside from personal opinion. There is a very large difference in the fact that I have yet to hear of anyone who didn't criticize Charlie Kirk being fired because they criticized Charlie Kirk's, or rather they celebrated Charlie Kirk's death when they didn't. I've yet to hear that. I would love, I'm perfectly willing to hear it, but that didn't happen. But Straub was dropped because people went after both her and Rev only because she is married to him. It's totally unrelated. They are totally different situations.
Because there's not really. There's a distinction in where you draw the line between what's acceptable behavior to punish that way and what's not, but that's just based on your own personal opinions. There's nothing really concrete there to go off of. And also, like, Rev's behavior in this specific Twitter interaction is clearly not like the actual full reason for this campaign to get their contract pulled from Advanced. Anybody who is going with the narrative that this was harassment on Rev's part and that's why they deserve to lose their contract, that's obviously stupid. I would agree that none of this was harassment. Clearly, this event was just kind of a flashpoint for something that had been brewing in the community for a while, which, like, again, to kind of just like circle back to this, people hate you and your politics. They're going to come after you. They're going to bully you. They're going to try to get you punished monetarily. Get used to it. You're scum. You deserve it. Also,
You're scum, you deserve it. Anecdotal. Why does he deserve it? Because I don't agree with the politics. It's effectively a halo bias, but backwards. I don't like the person, and thus that affects my judgment of them. Ugh.
Reporting this video, she mentions that she seems to believe that the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, was run over by Renee Good. So I guess she's either blind or an idiot.
Even if you send clear proof of video.
Victory by definition. No, the car did not go thunka 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 over the guy. But he was hit by the car. And consider this anecdotal, because I guess it is, where I grew up, where I live, the term run over and hit, like hit by a car and ran over by a car, are fairly synonymous. The only real difference is like the damage to both the vehicle and the person involved. Saying he was run over, is it a little bit, hyperbolic? Sure, he didn't go under the car. Was he hit by the car? Absolutely. So dismissing the entire argument because, oh, well, he wasn't actually ran over, he was only hit by the car, which, actually, hold on one second.
Video that the ICE agent wasn't run over and Alex Pretty wasn't resisting. Where are you getting this video? Because that's not what the video I've watched from multiple angles shows. What video are you watching? Did you, like, make another AI video?
After that, out of curiosity, I went ahead and looked into her reaction to Alex Pretty being shot. And sure enough, she's 100% on board with the idea that he was violent.
I will get into that in a moment, but by saying and just completely cutting off the argument because, he didn't actually go under the tire, so he wasn't run over. He was just ran into, is just stupid. That is a stupid person's argument. It is. I don't care if it's an ad hominem. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't care if it's an ad hominem. It is a stupid person's argument. Just because if you can't win the argument and you have to rely on like a nitpick that, doesn't change the argument, then you need a better argument.
Resisting somehow. She also implied that he looked.
Get down, you know what? You know what? Hold on. Oh, sorry. I don't know if that picked it up. Actually, wait. I have access to X, which has the video. Do. Yeah, I'm pulling it up live because. Oh, where's the video? It's gone. Oh, come on. I'm surprised I can't find it. Oh, is that it? Oh. Picture in picture. Yep. So here. Wasn't violently resisting. Right? Put hands on a federal agent. Yep. Right there. That is in fact battery. Oh, that's it? Darn, I was hoping for the longer video. But, oh well. Yeah. So, yes, that is in fact violent resistance. If I could find the whole thing. Is that it? No, that's that's the week before. Man, that's a little unfortunate. I just realized I've spent like 7 minutes looking for the fucking video. But, all that being said, no. Yep. Stepped up right there. Now, let me get the mouse out of the way. So, no. Not just passively there getting shot. He put his hands on an agent. And, actually, hang on. Video angle. There we go. No, that's the other week's. God damn it. Oh, here we go. Oh, here from the start. And look, he is resisting actively. Wow, it's almost like it's exactly what everyone says wasn't happening. Oh. Darn. Now I have to redo the video. Actually, this will be the only edit. Yeah, whoopsie daisy. I love it when I click the button and it decides to not do the thing. But you understand. He clearly, very clearly. There he is right there. Trying to get up. Actively resisting. Actually, you know what? Hold on. There we go. Yeah, wild take when you're, actively going up, trying to stand up against officers who are trying to pin you to the ground. That is resisting. I know, crazy, huh? But anyway.
Look like a pedophile. So, there's that. This is not
That
a
is ad
serious
hominem.
person. None of these people are serious people.
That is ad hominem. I don't know how well that actually, sounded. But yes, that is an ad hominem. That's just pointless.
She's a retard and a grifter, and she should be treated.
She's always talked about politics. She's always done that. So saying she's a grifter means that she's been a grifter for over 4 years. Even back when it was uncool to be conservative. A retard, you can make the argument. She would even agree with you, maybe. So, as ad hominem as it is, which you keep using, sure.
Treated like that. There's no video for this
Whoa! He's self-aware.
one, but quick shout out to Powder, who had a just awful reply in the comments underneath one of these tweets. And there's a couple things here that are very dumb. Now, the one thing she is correct about again
What's very dumb?
is that Twitter is Twitter.
Let's find
People
out.
are going to come after you when you make political takes. That is true. None of it was harassment, but the idea that locking the replies was not the move, that again, this idea that there's something virtuous about allowing people to criticize you publicly, that's stupid.
When you make political statements and then you hide behind the lock, it shows weakness. People will go to that. It isn't a smart move because Twitter will hound on you.
Stupid. But this part here, you claim empathy by saying fuck ICE, but do you have empathy for the American people, the countless people who are unemployed, the greedy business owners who take advantage of illegal immigration and pay people like shit so they don't have to hire Americans and pay them a livable wage? First off,
Yeah. So here, let's look at the entire quote, shall we? Making the simple statement, fuck ICE, opens you up to a crazy amount of assumptions about your character. What is it about ICE you do not like? What should be done about the millions of illegal immigrants, in your opinion? Locking replies was not the move. Twitter is gonna Twitter, and people are going to criticize you for your politics. You claim empathy by saying fuck ICE, but do you have any empathy for the American people? The countless people who are unemployed? The greedy business owners who take advantage of illegal immigration and pay people like shit so they don't have to hire Americans and pay them a livable wage?
it's underneath one of these tweets. And there's a couple things here that are very dumb. Now, the one thing she is correct about again is that Twitter is Twitter.
Let me ask, once again, is it dumb because you can't understand it, or is it dumb just because it's an illogical statement?
People are going to come after
It's the first one, not the second.
you when you make political takes. That is true. None of it was harassment, but the idea that locking the replies was not the move, that again, this idea that there's something virtuous about allowing people to criticize you.
No one's claiming virtue. Once again, by locking the comments, it shows weakness because you're not able to stand up for what you're saying. And thus, it leads to criticism. Because, just like she says in a moment,
Publicly, that's stupid. But this part here,
you claim empathy by saying fuck ICE. And that's what it is. It comes off as a virtue signal. It comes off as disingenuous. It comes off as fake if you aren't going to stand by what you say. It's just that simple. I don't get how he can't wrap his head around that, but maybe he just doesn't want to.
you claim empathy by saying fuck ICE, but do you have empathy for the American people?
And yes, I understand me not being able to understand why he can't understand. Very well might just be my own incredulity here. But, or maybe it's my own inconceivability. Actually, it's probably both.
The countless people who are unemployed, the greedy business owners who take advantage of illegal immigration and pay people like shit so they don't have to hire Americans and pay them a livable wage. First off, to be a conservative and bring up the concept of a livable wage is insane.
How so?
You are lost. But let's
Good argument. 11 out of 10. I don't have my hand tracking on. I put up a thumbs up. Yeah, you can just imagine one. You know, it's like right here. How is it? How are you lost if it isn't a livable wage a good thing? Are you saying that you're lost if you support a livable wage? Now, I know I'm being disingenuous there, but how does being a conservative mean that you can't support a livable wage? Along with that, what is a livable wage? The magic question. I make a fairly good livable wage for where I live. I mean, it's less than California's minimum wage, but that's because California's a shithole.
let's talk about a couple of these things real quick. First off, like the idea that there's only two alternatives here. Option A, we are completely overrun by illegal immigrants all over this country, or option B, we have masked armed men.
That is a black and white caused by a scarecrow. Straw man. I used scarecrow to describe straw man one time. But anyway, she's not saying that it's an A or a B. She is asking, you say this out of empathy, but what about the people? What about the people who are affected? Do you feel any empathy for them? That is what she is saying. This guy, Jaxxom, is being disingenuous by trying to put what she is saying into a binary of something that she didn't even say. He is arguing a straw man. This is a perfect example of a straw man. Because where does it say what he's about to say?
Take advantage of illegal immigration and pay people like shit so they don't have to hire Americans and pay them a livable wage. First off, to be a conservative and bring up the concept of a livable wage is insane. Like,
How so?
you are lost. But
You're just an idiot. Yes, that's an ad hominem. But just because you can't understand that, a conservative might like the idea of someone being able to live off of their money. Like, oh my gosh. I don't understand how you can't get that. Maybe it's just because you don't want to.
But let's talk about a couple of these things real quick. First off, like the idea that there's only two alternatives here.
She never said there were two alternatives.
Option A, we are completely overrun by illegal immigrants all over this country, or option B, we have masked armed men abducting and shooting US citizens.
One emotional term, sorry that I cut it off, but it's not a black or white. She didn't say that there are only two options. You are lying here. This is going just beyond a straw man. Like, I don't understand how you can actively read something and then say something that she didn't say.
In the streets, like, that's insane.
Also, shooting citizens in the street? You mean the citizen who I showed a video just a moment ago. And I will show it again. God damn it. No audio. You mean this one? The guy who's resisting?
Honestly.
He's clearly trying to resist right here. Or when let me see if I can find the first one. I'm not going to be able to find it. So, when he initially walked up, after the cop, yes, did shove the lady, he immediately got into his face, appeared to try to reach out to him, but you can't quite see because of the camera angle. But yes, perfectly reasonable. Along with that, it's also thought that...
Does it make it any more right? No.
Yeah, it looks like his own gun goes off. Wish they would actually show it frame by frame, but Yeah. It looks like his gun goes off. That's besides the point. But, oh yes, just gunning them down. Cop hears a gunshot during a resisting suspect. Perfectly understandable that, you would think it was a suspect. Or maybe Renee Good, the one that accelerated with the disregard as to whether or not there was someone in front of her vehicle. Or maybe you're talking about the one guy. I can't think of his name. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, which one of these? Oh yeah. The man who attacked ICE agents with a shovel. Jose Sosa Celis? I'm not sure. The Venezuelan national. Or Luis Aljona? Oh yeah. It's not like they tried. Well, actually, no, it looks like, from what I'm seeing, he did in fact hit him with a shovel. So it's almost like you have yet to find one that is completely out of nowhere. Well, correction, no. There is one that I have yet to look into from everything that I've seen on it. It does look like it was a bad shot, a bad shoot, technically, be the proper term, but you're not talking about that one, are you?
And stupid.
Something tells me you're not.
So Powder is either insane or stupid to say such a thing. A couple.
Oh. So are you crazy or just dumb? I don't know. You can ask yourself that. But you've strawmanned yourself into not being able to comprehend what she said the first time. So
Relevant stats here. Unemployment in 2023 during Joe Biden's presidency. The evil, awful Joe Biden, who had an open border, who allowed all these immigrants in the first place. Unemployment was
like the what was her name? The one that was raped and stabbed. Or no. The other one that was? Sorry, there were so many that ended up, dying because of open border policies that I just can't remember them all. Yeah. Lake and Riley. There we go.
Was at 3.4%. That's a 50-year low during that presidency. Since President Trump has been in office, it's climbed back up to 4.6%, which is the highest level since September of 2021, which was during the COVID recovery. Obviously, the immigration is not driving unemployment the way you're implying it is. Also,
when you kick out people who are taking American jobs, and between people being in those jobs and people not being in those jobs, you're going to have unemployment. Wow.
So this idea that immigrants come into the country and are just a leech on our economy and
so funny you should mention. Nope, that is not the one I wanted. Where is it at? I know I have it saved. Or is it still over here? Oh, it is still over here. Whoops. And let me move this over here so you guys can see it. Yep. Federation for American Immigration Reform. They do, in fact, have this. I highly recommend looking into it. In 2023, the net cost of illegal immigration for the United States at the federal, state, and local levels, yes, this is combined, was at least $150.7 billion. They are, in fact, a leech. Quite literally. Each illegal alien or U.S.-born child of illegal aliens costs the U.S. $8,776 annually. That's probably an average number. So it's, yeah, that's probably why it's goofy. Evidence shows that tax payments by illegal aliens only cover around a sixth of the costs they create at the level in this country, at all levels in this country. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, a large percentage of illegal aliens who work in the underground economy frequently avoid paying any income tax. Really? Someone paid under the table doesn't pay taxes? What a surprise.
And are bad for our economy is disproven over and over again. Immigrants are...
This is passing from the acceptable to the dubious right here, because you immediately go from illegal to legal to all immigration. You are being disingenuous here. You are lying by shifting completely from what you were talking about to something semi-related, but it is still importantly different. For shame.
Typically
Jaxxom.
considered a boost to overall economic growth. They grow the labor force, they increase consumer spending. What you're implying here is totally wrong. Immigration drives job.
Hold on, let me maximize this. Increases the revenue. Oh, this is a projected. This is projected. Estimated deficit reduction. Increases in revenues paid by immigrants and the surge of population when... let me pull this up again. A large percentage. Okay, so 50% don't pay income tax. It says large, it doesn't give an exact, so I'm going to say 50. So increase in revenues from taxes paid by immigrants and the surge population. Oh, wow. Increase in the revenue from the economy, decrease in the deficit due to net effective taxes paid. Okay, how many? Oh, wait a minute. Amount of billions of dollars? So about 30 to 40 to about like 50 something to 60 to a little bit more to about 70 to 80. So in 2034, the amount in billions of dollars, maybe I'm misreading this, but is this like a yearly thing? Because even then you're still losing money.
Job growth and productivity. Increased immigration leads to a decrease in the deficit. And back to the idea that like this is the only way that we can get illegal immigrants out of the country. That having armed ICE agents marching through the streets of Minneapolis, which
It's not. We don't need to have them marching through to get them all out. In fact, actually, right here, the DHS now offering $2,600 stipend via the CBP Home app for illegal aliens to leave now. If they want to leave easily, then they can just leave. You literally download an app, you click some buttons, and you go home with some extra money. And fun fact, $26,000 in a majority of the world that they are trying to flee, trying to escape, as he would probably say. Is that a straw man? No. I'm making a reasonable assumption here. If they are fleeing somewhere, and you give them this much money, they can live like kings. Along with that, this
which
next
is up
part,
near the Canadian border, by the way, is the correct way to be removing illegal immigrants from this country. We did have an alternative to that. It was called the immigration bill. It was in 2023 under Biden. It was a bipartisan bill. It had support from both Republicans and Democrats. It would have resumed building the wall. It would have added more.
So he is conflating kind of two. I actually did look this up specifically. Where is this? These are a little out of order. Spoilers. Ah, here we go. Yes. The Immigration, Visa Efficiency and Security Act. Now, I just want to... Now, as you can see, I look up the wall. There's nothing. In fact, actually, by using a... Oh, God damn it. Is it over here? I have it pulled up on my other monitor. few more. Must not have moved it. No. Oh, there it is. So, what all was in the 2023 immigration bill? And I'm assuming this is it because he said in 2023.
Correct
Right.
way to be removing illegal immigrants from this country. We did have an alternative to that. It was called the immigration bill. It was in 2023 under Biden.
Okay, 2023 under Biden. So, a lot of them, there were a few of them in 2023. So, let's look. Dignity Act, funding for technology upgrades, biometric exit systems. I don't understand why you need exit systems if you're trying to stop people from, coming in. Oh, it prohibited funding for the Trump era border wall. Wow. Let's look. Lawful protective immigrant. Didn't say anything about the wall. Didn't say anything about the wall. So, I don't know. Maybe he's talking about something else. Something, maybe, oh, wait a minute. We'll get into this
It
in a
was a
moment.
bipartisan bill and had support from both Republicans and Democrats.
Bipartisan? Like this one? The one that was initially negotiated out of 2023, but it then fell into 2024? This one?
It would have resumed building the wall. It would have added more officers.
If it's any of these, well, one literally just says no. So I don't know if it's any of these, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's this one.
It would have added more security. It would have offered more resources. It would have added resources to increase the processing of asylum cases. It would have added restrictions that allowed them to actually reduce the number of people that were coming into the country.
Oh, so it was probably this one. $20.2 billion for U.S. border security and significant asylum reforms, reflecting a political strategy. Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. This first part, maybe this is what he's talking about.
Like, a major part of our immigration issue is that we have legal backlog. Something about 30 to 50% of illegal immigrants in this country are just people who overstayed their visas. It's not like they're
Why are they overstaying? You know when you're supposed to leave. Skedaddle.
all just coming over the border illegally. There are
You have the CBP home app. We will give you a free flight and a little bit of money.
reasons that we need resources other than just armed officers to deal with our immigration issue. And this bill that would have helped with all that was killed by Trump. He put pressure on the Republicans to not vote for it. They killed the bill that they were going to pass.
Now I know exactly which one this is because it is this bill right here. I remember this distinctly. The major bipartisan Senate proposal unveiled in February of 2024, negotiated as a response to 2023 legislative efforts, combined border and immigration reforms with foreign aid. That is why he stopped it. That is why he insisted that it cannot pass, because this $118.3 billion package includes $60 billion in Ukraine aid for defense against Russia, which that should be something completely different. Oh, and by the way, I opened it up, looked into it a little bit further, and $14 billion for security assistance with Israel should be an independent thing. It shouldn't have anything to do with linking border security to foreign aid. So that's why he killed it. I remember that because he flat out said it. You nonce.
Because he needed to run on immigration as an issue so he could get elected again. And then he bragged about killing it. And now we have nothing. We have no...
I don't have it pulled up, and I'm not going to spend another 10 minutes looking for it like I did with the Alex Preddy shooting thing. But he has said multiple times that they tried to shove extra stuff in there. I think this was actually the one that he called the pork belly bill. Hold on. Oh, wait, it's pork barrel? I always thought it was pork belly. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit of my Pennsyltuckian. Here, pork barrel bill. Let's see. Earmarks totaling, creation bills. No, it's not this. Well, darn. I thought it was a pork belly. Maybe they just called it an omnibus, or maybe they just used pork belly as a general term. But either way, oh no, he nixed a package that only had literally like 1/6 out of 18 billion, 20.2 billion went to border security and related measures. So, do you just not know this, or do you only read headlines?
No border bill. We have this. We have shootings in the streets of Minnesota.
Which one? The one where the guy was resisting and it appears that his own gun went off, which spooked the officers reasonably, and ended up with them shooting him. Unfortunately, I don't celebrate that. That isn't a good thing. Or maybe the woman who flagrantly disregarded the officers around her vehicle and ended up hitting one, and within reason, got shot. Or maybe it was the two that attempted to beat border agents with shovels. Where? Yeah, here, let me just let me pull it up. Yeah. Sosa Celis and Ajrona, Venezuelan nationals living in Minneapolis and working as food delivery drivers, were later charged with assaulting a federal officer. Wow. That one?
One thing that you can kind of just see over and over by the just insane, stupid, ill-informed things that these people will say in their videos.
Ill-informed, like how you don't decide to mention, that there's 14 billion going to Israel, 60 billion in aid for Ukraine. You're just not going to mention that?
That they pump out every day. Is
not going to mention that if you're talking about one of the other bills, like the border security bill, which the Dignity Act was a bipartisan proposal addressing comprehensive immigration reform. Oh, border security. It prohibited the Trump era border wall. So it wouldn't have done the thing you said. So, uninformed. Were you uninformed in the fact that it didn't do what you said it was? Or are you just banking on the fact that people who are listening to you don't know what you're trying to say and aren't looking into it?
Is that these people don't care about it?
I know that's kind of, black and white. It's drawing the line, you'd know or not, but I'm not seeing much in between.
Anything. They don't care about this country. They don't care about making it better, actually. This is why I call them grifters. Because they have no values except for just being anti-lib creators. They don't give a shit about Minnesota.
So you don't... I'm doing my best to imagine a way to say this nicely. But unfortunately, my filter when it comes to stupid people wears very, very thin very, very quickly. Because this guy, clearly, he has referenced Kirsha. He has referenced Leaflet. He has referenced, well, Revi can make the argument for. But, oh wait, during that whole confrontation with Lala, he has Christian values, and she tried to use that against him. And then he retorted with using his own Christian values. So, I mean, he has values. I guess maybe he just doesn't know that. Kirsha has held fairly open views on multiple different subjects. Some views are more like liberal than others, some are more conservative than others. And then Leaflet has been open about her opinions and like her viewpoints on things. Or maybe you're talking about someone like Nux, who is very openly Jewish and uses very openly, and I know he hasn't talked about Nux in this video, but maybe he's talking about Nuxanor, who, you know, definitely isn't openly Jewish and uses his Jewish principles in order to inform his logic and his opinions on things.
Minnesota or Minneapolis. They just want to point and laugh at Tim Walz because he was Kamala's running mate and he's a liberal, so that makes him the enemy. They don't give a shit that...
No, they point and laugh because he's a FUD. He claims to be this military guy and he can't handle his own gun properly. He claims that, you know, these weapons of war that I've handled, and he never went to war. In fact, he actually left like 2 days before he would have been deployed. It's his own military record. You can find it. I'm not bullshitting you. This has been shown. It has been proven. But anyway, sorry. I'll let you continue, Jaxxom.
Zero fraud has been uncovered as a result of the Nick Shirley video.
Fraud has been uncovered. There's been zero fraud prosecuted yet. There's been evidence of fraud. In fact, Nick went to Congress and testified that, hey, I have found all this evidence of fraud. It's not that it doesn't exist. It's just no one's been charged with anything yet. Big difference.
By the way, a video made by an actual mentally disabled person who's being used by right-wing media to attack Democratic politicians.
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
They don't care that there are more...
Oh, I'm going to call him mentally disabled and then take a quotation out of context. Yes, Nick sucks at speaking. He does. I suck at speaking. I do. And I've been over it in my other video that there is a reason why you ask, even if it's something that seems reasonable, it is to prevent ambiguity. It is to prevent like miscommunication. If you can give a definition to something that is, even if it's something simple, like run over, you prevent, you know, oh, well, you actually weren't run over. You were just, you know, hit at 100 miles an hour. You went over the roof of the car, but you weren't ran over by the car. You were ran under. And yes, I know the officer that you probably thought of when I said hit by a car and ran over. No, the car was not going that fast. But, sorry, getting off topic. It is to prevent victory by definition. Stupid little semantic games that a certain someone seems to really like playing.
more illegal immigrants
Also ad hominem.
in Texas and Florida than there are in Minnesota. And yet there was no operation to surge ICE agents into those states. And they don't care when Americans...
Why were there no operations? Why, hold on. Let me think. It's almost like Texas is working with the immigration enforcement operations. It's almost like Florida is working with. I didn't pull it up for Florida, but it's almost like Texas is working with instead of against border agents. It's almost like Florida is working with instead of against border agents. It's almost like because there is active resistance, an active harassment, an active assault against officers in Minnesota, that is why there are more officers there. It's almost like when you don't have support from the local police department, you need more officers to assist you. But I don't know, maybe that's just a kooky conspiracy theory. It's totally not like you can look up, local police not assisting with ICE on the Google box, and you totally won't find countless videos of cops standing there doing nothing while ICE patrols are going on. It's totally not like that.
citizens get gunned down in the street. They don't care about anything. It's just a culture war grift.
Emotional terms.
These people deserve your hate. They deserve to be bullied constantly. They should be shamed off every platform at every opportunity, and their loser audiences should as well.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to have the conversation. You think that they should go because you don't like their opinion. And from what I've understood from watching this, you're just incapable of comprehending it, which that is an issue, not an ish everyone else. But yeah, sure, let's just kick everyone else out. Everyone else is an idiot aside from me.
Meanwhile, as these dipshits and morons choke down
Ad hominem.
the boots so far that they're clearly hindering their ability for their brains to get oxygen, the polling info is clear. ICE is not popular.
Hold on.
Things are looking pretty good as we start to move towards the...
No, ICE itself is not popular. I wonder if that's partially because of one of two things. Either A, you're taking polling data from a relatively anti-ICE area, which is possible. I'm not going to say that that's what it is. Or B, because of certain public backlash, manufactured, of course. Because there has been evidence found that, a lot of the protests in Minnesota are funded, like paid protests. But I don't have that pulled up, so take that with a grain of salt. But it's totally not like that. It's totally not like that.
midterm elections later this year. Make sure you register to vote, by the way, and show up, please. It's clear that these awful events have finally started to wake people up to how awful this administration truly is. This is why we should be openly talking about politics more.
I thought if you're talking about politics on the opposing side, you're a grifter. Because that's all you've been saying this entire time.
When you talk about politics, these kinds of scum always poke their head up and reveal
Ad hominem.
themselves, and that allows you to start to root them out. And they do need to be rooted out. They have completely aligned themselves with an authoritarian pedophile rapist, and they will go
Ad hominem. I would love to see any evidence of that. Because anything in the Epstein files is basically just Epstein seething that, oh, he didn't do anything. Oh, I couldn't quite get him to do this. Oh, I couldn't quite get him to do that. It's totally not like the lady who was assaulted by Prince Andrew went out and said, oh yeah, Trump, never did anything. It's totally not like that.
along with any insane thing he tries to do. Liberals often have this approach of being timid and conciliatory, even in the face of awful, disgusting people saying
I can't say the words. I am not allowed to say those words. I'm not on the Xbox Live chat anymore. Liberals are the quiet ones? The ones that are attacking ICE agents. The ones that are trying to hit them with their vehicles. The ones that are hitting them with shovels. The ones that are violently resisting. The ones that brigaded and got not only Rev, but his wife canceled. The liberals that have shot at, hitting one time, the president, almost in the head, in the ear. The liberals who have assassinated one of the most open speakers in modern history, in Charlie Kirk. The liberals who burned down cities. The liberals. Oh. call this ad hominem because by definition it is. This man is a liar. You are a snake. He is not to be trusted. By everything so far that he has said, I've been able to point and say, well, no, here's this. Here's this. Oh, Donald Trump, I assume he's, if my memory serves, he's going to say Donald Trump is unpopular. Fun fact, he won the popular vote. Everything that is currently going on is kind of what was wanted. If you look in modern media, because, oh yeah, the liberals are the quiet ones. The liberals that, like the majority of Hollywood, the liberals who are basically the majority in Hollywood, the liberals who are in the majority of mainstream media, MSN, NBC, CNN, ABC, the liberals who basically are the majority in the European Union, those liberals are the quiet, niche minority. Sorry, he didn't say niche.
And doing awful, disgusting things. And we just need to get over that. These people are scum. They should be treated like scum. Don't ever be nice to them. If you...
Okay, so just no conversation? Yeah, that's always ended well.
You have friends who are voting conservative. Stop being their friends. Fuck them. They don't care about you. They don't care about this country. If they did, they wouldn't be voting for this shit.
Maybe I care about the country in a different way. Maybe I want to make sure that the people who are supposed to be here, whether that be legal immigrants or just American citizens in the first place, they can get jobs. They aren't being forced out of the market by people who are paid less, the people who don't pay taxes, the people who drain the tax system every year.
They should never be able to live normal lives in a civilized society ever again. We're not gonna...
So they shouldn't be able to have jobs?
Get our normal country back until we get these parasitic...
You're saying to harass people you disagree with? Wow, how very open-minded of you.
scum to fuck off forever. I guess that pretty much covers it. But also, fuck ICE.
Stunning and great, so brave. Just stunning and brave. Christ. I'm doing my best not to say no words. Ugh. Let me say this nicely. Jaxxom is a midwit. He is not stupid. Not completely. Not totally. I'm not saying that I'm wildly smarter than him. But Christ on a bike. Like, how can you be this dumb? This is like, yes, this is going to become very ad hominem very fast. But I don't understand how someone can be so stupid so actively. Like, I can't help but attribute it to malice. It's either madness or malice, and I'm leaning towards the latter. Christ, this has gone on for too long. I'm going to have an aneurysm. So, before I do that, I'm gonna end the video here. I'm sorry that I ranted and raved for so long. You know, I basically 10 times the runtime of the video. But, like, with all that being said, oh, and by the way, he mentioned at some point in time, I fucking tweaked over it. Aliens that haven't done anything, no, once again, CNN, deport all undocumented immigrants, get them all out. They technically have committed a crime by entering illegally or staying illegally. Specifically, right here, improper time or place, like this right here. Any alien who, 1, enters or attempts to enter the United States at any time or place other than as designated by immigration officers, or 2, eludes examination or inspection by immigration officers, or 3, attempts to enter or obtains entry to the United States by willfully, falsely, or misleadingly representing or willfully concealing a material fact, shall, for the first commission of any such offense, be fined under Title 18. I don't know what Title 18 is, so I will not say that I know everything. Will be fined under Title 18 or imprisoned not more than 6 months or both, and for a subsequent commission of any such offense be fined under Title 18 or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. Yadoo. Which, this means that they have committed a crime. If they have committed a crime, I personally believe that if you illegally enter, you should just be deported. You should just be, like, sent out the way you came. Like, pick them up, 180, set them down, walk them forward. But that is my rant and rave. That's why I have this open over here and this right here too. But I ranted over that. Anyway, that'll be it. I'll shut the fuck up. And if you managed to make it this far, which if you have, kudos, please be sure to hit the like button and go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you disliked it, go ahead and hit the dislike button. Tell me what I did wrong in the comments. I would love to hear it. All that being said, my name is Hastur. See ya.